Comcast Cablevision Channel 43 presents high school football. Today, the Kingsway Dragons host the Deptford Spartans. Today's game is brought to you in part by Proby Chiropractic. 740 Mantua Pike, Route 45, Woodbury Heights. Feel good naturally. Call 845-BACK. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner Mike Shute. A crisp fall evening here at Kingsway High School. Two teams, Mike, kind of headed in separate directions in the sense that Kingsway starts to get a little bit healthier this game. Deptford a little banged up.
Yeah, one team coming in with some injuries. The other team continues to get healthier and get more improved as the season wears on, Rob. And you said it perfectly. Crisp night, perfect night for football here at Kingsway High School.
Well, for Deptford, they've had all sorts of problems at the quarterback spot. Their starting quarterback, Eakins, out, broken hand. Backup, Mullery, out, broken hand. Tonight it's going to be Rashawn Huggins.
Yeah, Rashawn Huggins, and the man does not leave the field, Rob. He's out there on defense as a D-back. He's a special teams guy, and now he's out there at quarterback, and they're looking for him in just his second start to come up with some big plays. Last week didn't throw the ball too much. They went to the ground a lot as he got pushed into a little bit of an emergency situation there, so only threw a few passes. This week, maybe they'll let him unleash it a little bit more now that he's seen the offense from that angle as the quarterback and doing things a little differently for him. Primarily they kept him on the ground last week with Mike Green, the sophomore running back who's been a star for Deptford so far this year. So now we'll see if Huggins maybe makes some adjustments, gets a little bit more familiar with Coach Al Orio's offense, and boom, they can get things rolling.
Well, they'll need to go get rolling against this Kingsway team. Kingsway comes into it with quite a few weapons. Perhaps it all starts with their quarterback, Eric Fromm.
Absolutely, yeah. And you go the other direction, you got another quarterback there. Conversely here at Kingsway, he's got a lot of experience and now is just continuing to get better and capitalizing on good opportunities and really leading Kingsway to solid drives up and down the field. This team's definitely gotten much better as the season's worn on.
Well, again, this Kingsway team is very strong. It will continue to be strong and get stronger in the playoffs. But tonight, Deptford hopes to stop them. They'll probably need to score first. We'll have it for you right after this here on Comcast Cablevision Channel 43. Welcome back to Kingsway High School, Woolwich Township, and we are just about to get underway. The opening kickoff, a little pooch kick, trying to avoid the speedy Bryant over to the side and immediately brought down. First down and 10 here, Kingsway. And there's part of the game plan of head coach Al Oreo. That is to make the field long for this Kingsway team. And he feels that that's one of the only ways that they can really be competitive today.
Yeah, they got to do a good job, especially on first and second down, Rob. Put Kingsway in third and long situations. Certainly will work to their advantage. Good job by Isham Poe on special teams there covering that kick for Deptford.
Well, as we mentioned, Kingsway with quite a few weapons. It's from the quarterback. And an inside handoff to Tarif Hill, and Hill drives forward. A gain of about 7. Second down and 3. Tarif Hill coming back after a hernia operation last week. His first game back. Tarif Hill had a huge day last year against Haddon Heights. Really turned this team around, winning the big playoff game. And this is a totally different team with Tarif Hill in the lineup.
Missed the first 3 games of the year, coming back strong, gets stronger every week. So we'll see what he can do tonight here, under the bright lights here at Kingsway.
There's a handoff. And this is going to be Bryant. Bryant pushes it outside and illustrates that great speed of Dorian Bryant. A first down here for the Dragons.
Bryant really turned the corner there. Once he got free, the ball was on the far side hash marks there on that last play. So he had a lot of room on the near side of the field to run and took advantage of it.
Dorian Bryant is just a junior. He's one of the top players in South Jersey. A bit of a surprise to Coach Tony Parchuk coming here. Initially, it was thought he would be going to Paulsboro, has come here from Don Bosco Prep in North Jersey, and has really added to this Kingsway offensive attack. Right away, Tarif Hill met at the line of scrimmage. A fine play made by Nick Capolina.
Number 51, Al Oreo, also in on the tackle as well.
Al Oreo Jr., the son of the head coach, Al Oreo, and he calls the defense a 2-year starter. Coach Oreo says one of the most difficult things he has to do is coach his son, always under the microscope. 2nd down and 10. From a quick hitter to the outside, and met right away is Larry Thomas. Thomas, one of the best receivers on this team. They'll set up Dorian Bryant sometimes on the outside and just try to get the ball in their hands and let them create.
Thomas the junior picked up a couple there. It's going to be 3rd and long situation. This is what Deptford coach Alorio wants to see from his defense tonight.
And this is a big 3rd down. Last week we saw the Gloucester Catholic Delsey game, and each time they had a 3rd and long, Gloucester Catholic just could not hold them. This will be a big defensive set for Deptford. Pitch outside to Bryant, and again that great speed finds his way into the open, breaking through tackles. He's on his way, and no one is going to catch him. Dorian Bryant breaks it open for the touchdown.
Wow, tremendous speed from Bryant, and then a couple of great moves there in the defensive backfield. Just flew by a bunch of tacklers on the far sideline, and he even took advantage of his speed despite using that short side of the field, Rob. You know that they mark the ball on the hash marks, and the hash marks are very wide in high school, so there's not a lot of room to run on that outside there that they took to, when they ran the sweep to the left. But man, Bryant gets out there so quickly that it's like walking through the park with his speed.
Well, they will set up, and it looks like they will set up for a 2-point conversion here, something unusual. From back to pass, has good time, being flushed out of the pocket and tackled from behind. So the 2-point conversion fails, as a fine play by Kyle Jones to stop Fromm and the Kingsway Dragons, but not before they go out on top by the score of 6-0. And there you see the Dragon, Pride. I don't know if that's the name of the Dragon, but again, Kingsway Dragons mascot there. If you were a master of the Dragon, Mike, would you call him Pride the Dragon? What do you think?
I don't know. That's the name of his it's the name of his jersey. Go with it.
All right, I'm with you. Dorian Bryant, again, one of the top players in South Jersey. He's quick. And one of the things that Coach Barchuk said, this kid is a football player, hard-nosed, knows what he's doing out there. And you can see he just adds just a totally different element to this Kingsway team. And they will be a force in Group 2 come playoff time.
Last week in Kingsway's win over Williamstown, 2 quick scores in the first 4 minutes of the game. They got a 66-yard punt return from Bryant, who makes a big play there, and also a touchdown run from Hill. So when Kingsway gets off to a great start like this, you know, it's obvious that nothing but good things are set for the rest of the game. And when you got tremendous speed like that, Rob, like you have on the field tonight that Kingsway has, great things happen quickly. And when you can make things happen quick, it just totally demoralizes the opposition.
Tom Gallo kicks off and finds its way just barely to the sidelines. You get a good shot there. That ball almost stayed there. That would have been dangerous because essentially that would have been a long onside kick.
Yeah, real long onside kick, but almost quite effective.
Well, instead of taking the penalty, Deptford opts to take the football, and they'll have a 1st down and 10 here at the 35-yard line. Well, we spoke at the top, Mike, about Rashawn Huggins. Of course, they started the season with a quarterback who Andrew Akins was looked to be as maybe one of the top quarterbacks around, broke his hand, and we'll continue with that story in just a moment as big Mike Green gets the handoff. And actually, after breaking his hand, Akins gave way to Mallory, who also broke his hand. Both of them, Mike, throwing hand injuries, both of them needing surgery, both of them with screws in their hand.
Yeah, Steve Mallory then took over number 2. I mean, that is really just kind of shows you how snake-bitten a team can be when your number 1 guy and then your number 2 guy, they both get the same injury.
Here's Rashawn Huggins with the pitch and stringing it out nicely for Kingsway. It looked to be Nick Smith, and just nothing doing there for the Deptford offense.
Good job. They didn't, obviously Deptford running the option with Huggins there that time, and Kingsway just did a nice job. They followed, stayed with the play, strung it out, as you said, Robin, and a good pursuit there. Now 3rd and long situation for Deptford. See if they can answer the way Kingsway was able to on that first drive.
Well, again, Deptford maybe not with the speed of the Kingsway team, and perhaps more importantly, Rashawn Huggins just not the arm of Eric Fromm, so Kingsway will key on that run all night long. And there you see Huggins with the pitch, and again stringing it out and trying to get to the corner. Looked like a late hit. They got away with it, but Vaughn Eli, one of the better athletes on this Deptford team, just unable to outrace Gerard Valleco. Jared Valleco, 5'11", 180 junior, and he typically will line up in the back for punts, which he does. They set up Valleco and Bryant in the I formation just so they can't kick away from Bryant. Here's the punt, and they will opt to go towards the sideline and towards Valleco's side. Valleco picks it up on one hop, maintains his feet, and then finally brought down and pounded by Anthony Gudo. First down and 10 here for the for the Kingsway Dragons.
Kingsway tremendously successful on their first drive. See what they can do here on drive number 2. Already leading 6-0. Just about 3.5 minutes into this ball game.
Well, Kingsway comes into this game with a record of 4-1, and speaking with Coach Barchuk, he said the one loss to Delsey, a bit of a backbreaker, a heartbreaker, leading 28-21, a key fourth down play. Delsey able to convert, went on to score the touchdown, and that is the lone blemish on their record this season. Here's the handoff, and it's going to be Hill. Hill gains about 3, second down and 7.
And Rob, Kingsway is a team that we saw earlier here in the season on Comcast Channel 43 against Glassboro. That game was an exciting game. Went down to the wire only because Glassboro scored late, got a onside kick, recovered it, and had an opportunity to make another big play, but couldn't finish it off, and Kingsway was able to survive that one. That, of course, the weekend following the terrorist attacks that hit the United States. So, I mean, that game, a real emotional game for a lot of reasons.
Second down and 7 here for the Dragons. Fromm back to pass, quick inside hitter, and trying to break through tackles is Dorian Bryant, but a nice play made. And as I mentioned before, as you see the fine play made by big Mike Green, they're just going to try to get the ball in the hands of Dorian Bryant and let him create.
Mike Green, just a sophomore for Deptford, and he does a lot. You know, we talked about his offensive skills, but a real nice tackle there. Plays linebacker, 6'1", 205, and as I said again, just a sophomore. So think about that if you're going to be trying to defend him in the future. Mike
Green's a Division I prospect, no question, already as a sophomore. Good rush put on by Fromm, and he will be tackled by a host of Deptford Spartans, and that's the type of defensive output that Coach Oreo needs from his Deptford Spartans.
Nick Capolina there with the sack, number 60. At least he started the problems for Fromm, and then, of course, the rest of the gang jumped in there, the rest of the Spartans. Deptford 2-2 this year in the Tri-County Royal, 2-3 overall. And, as Rob mentioned, Kingsway 4-1 overall, but 3-1, and in second place here in the Tri-County Royal. That lost to Delsey, who is in first place right now, 4-0 in the division and 5-0 overall. So, you know, Kingsway maybe with a good break still has a shot at the division title, but Delsey looks to be strong this year.
That'll give us a chance to step away in the first quarter as we look at our Proby Chiropractic scoreboard. It's Kingsway on top, 6-0. Welcome back to Kingsway High School. Kingsway on top, 6-0. First down here, and the handoff to Mike Green. Again, Green with great size, had a big day last week against Woodstown, carrying the ball for over 100 yards. Last time we saw Deptford, it was against Clearview, and Deptford just frankly did not have a good day, but Mike Green was one of the lone bright spots for that Spartans team.
Yeah, Green with 145 yards on the ground last week as Deptford beat Woodstown.
And here's Rashawn Huggan keeping the ball, breaking it to the outside, and a gain of about 6 or so. It'll be a short third down here. You know, one of the interesting things, Mike, is Rashawn Huggan literally does not come off the field. You saw him taking the punt earlier. He plays both sides of the ball and special teams.
Yeah, we mentioned him in the opening, and, you know, now, though, he takes on the added responsibility of being the quarterback now as opposed to before when he was just a receiver. So it gets more intense for him every game. But you know what? If I'm a player, I love that because I'm out there all the time. I'm always in the game. I always know what's going on.
There's Mike Green running off tackle, coming up with the first down here for the Deptford Spartans. First down and 10 as Deptford drives into Kingsway territory at their 44-yard line. And that's what they're going to need to do. They're going to need to put the ball in the hands of Mike Green, mix it up a little bit, and also continue to eat clock. First down and 10, 44-yard line. Full house backfield. Rashawn Huggins with the handoff, and nothing inside for Darnell Young. Tarif Hill on the stop for Kingsway. Again, Hill, one of the top running backs. He's also a big hitter on defense.
That's Chuck Ellis, number 55. You get a good look at him, the captain there of the defense. Senior inside linebacker, 6'1", 215, and another hard hitter.
In fact, Coach Barchuk calls Chuck Ellis Mr. Everywhere. Says wherever the ball is, he's there. Great moves by Huggin. Huggin breaks through into the secondary. Ball is loose, and it looks like Kingsway is on it, but a quick indication from the referee says no, no, no. Deptford on top of it, and that'll be a big break if Deptford can maintain possession. They do.
That's a tremendous break for Deptford right there. That ball took a great hop. Huggins was spun around, but it bounced right back up to him almost, it seemed. And that's a real fortunate break for Deptford there. And a great run by Huggins. A couple good moves there to shake free at the line, and then got into the Kingsway secondary there to pick up the first down.
Well, again, as we mentioned, Huggins the third option, really a quarterback, but he's already proved his athleticism and really started to get this Deptford offense rolling. First down, handoff, and again, not much doing in between the tackles for this Deptford team.
And really over the years, Deptford's not been much of a team to put it up anyway and throw the ball too much. So this whole style of Huggins kind of just works into the style that Deptford plays anyway. So it's not too big a departure for them to have him in there. But, it's not the guy you planned on starting with. Then your number 2 guy's not there. So now you're looking at your third option. But he's doing a good job so far.
How about these for stats last week? He threw the ball 3 times, completed 1 for -1 yard. Quarterback draw, picks up about 1. That'll bring up a long third down. We'll call it 6.
I think the only problem with when you have an offense like this where you constantly running the ball, there's no element of surprise, and it's not, you're not going to catch the defense on their heels too often.
I formation and a handoff, a quick hitter. Some positive yardage, a gain of about 5. That'll bring up a short fourth down. 4th down and 1. We're in 4-down territory, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what kind of kicking game Deptford has this season, but from this spot would be about a 37-yard or so. I don't expect to see them going for it, but the Deptford does call timeout, so they're going to talk things over. And we'll see what Coach Oreo comes out of this huddle with.
Well, in terms of this 4th down, again, a 4th down at about 1, you have to think that the Kingsway defense is going to key on Mike Green.
Absolutely. Which, again, if you're Deptford, you'd maybe go the other way. A little play fake to Green, maybe making him look like he's going to go right. Huggins keeps it, goes left. He could have some room because they're going to jam that line of scrimmage trying to shut down that first down possibility.
Well, Rashawn Huggins certainly has shown his elusiveness already. We talked about Kingsway earlier, the lone blemish against Delsey. We'll talk a little bit about who they have beaten this year. But first, this big 4th down here. 4th down and a long one. And we're running a spread here just to try to isolate a receiver and maybe open things up inside. I formation here for Huggin. He has Mike Green along, looks like Hardy. And Huggin keeps it inside, looks like a penalty flag, and he is pounded by big Chuck Ellis, as we said before, Mr. Everywhere.
And that play's going to not even go down. That was a false start. The fullback there started leaning forward. Everybody called for it, and then the flag was finally thrown after the play got started.
And that kind of breaks your heart if you're head coach Al Oreo coming into this game, asking him about the keys. One of the things he keyed on is just the fact that they can ill afford to have mistakes. That's
our referee Mark Finelli there, and he's calling his timeout. They're going to measure the run there because the penalty was against Deptford. So Kingsway could decline it, actually, and take the ball rather than give Deptford another opportunity on 4th down. It would be a first down, though, as it looks down there on the field. So that means Kingsway now will accept the penalty, and Deptford will get another shot on 4th down. So maybe it works out for everybody.
We had illegal motion on the offense, and what we did was we measured to make sure that the line to gain was the line to gain, which they made. Team's going to accept the penalty from the 20-yard line, 5 yards, repeat, down 4.
Well, a great explanation there by Mark Finelli. And again, illustrating that first we measure, we saw that Deptford had the first down, so Kingsway now will opt to take the penalty. It's kind of interesting, Mike, because you generally don't get to see that, and this really illustrates how much this penalty might hurt.
Yeah, it's big. It's really big. Now they're going to try and kick a field goal. This is interesting.
Well, this will be a long one, about 42 yards, and it will be Matt Bainey with the kick. The kick is up. It's long enough, and the kick is no good. The kick is wide left, but there is a penalty on the field. And I tell you what, Matt Bainey had a lot of leg.
Yeah, he got a good piece of that. It looks like the penalty's going to go against Kingsway, though, just based upon where the flag was thrown. And that's strictly all I can base on.
Let's go down.
I was too busy watching the ball. Yeah.
Personal foul against Kingsway. We talked about that penalty of Deptford's being big. Look at Coach Barchuk. He is beside himself.
If you can read lips, he said, "You got to be kidding me."
And unfortunately for Coach Barchuk and the Dragons,
we have illegal contact on the center, on the defensive team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
How about that?
Well, half the distance to the goal line. And a huge penalty here, first down and 10 for the Spartans. Here's Huggin. 3-back set inside. It's Green. Green driving forward and picking up a good chunk. Second down here, and that will certainly energize Deptford.
I don't know if it's the white jerseys playing against the black jerseys or what, but Green just looks huge compared to everybody else out there.
Well, he is a big kid.
And I think it's got to have that effect.
6'1", 205 pounds. Those numbers start at the beginning of the season. Green is probably just getting bigger. Second down here. Again, a 3-back set for Huggin. Huggin will go to Green. Green cutting inside, dancing, and picking up about 3. He will be short of the first down, but it will be a very short third down here for Deptford.
He was just kind of picking his way there, trying to find a hole. Got a couple steps to the left, a couple steps to the right, and then saw a little seam. And you got to believe you're going to be getting a steady dose of Mr. Green all night tonight.
Well, third down here. Again, a 3-back set for Huggins. Huggins will go back to Green. Green driving the legs, trying to push for the first down, and it will be close to the first down for Mike Green and Deptford.
Number 76, Ryan Devlin there on the hit. Devlin, a junior, 6'2", 260. That's a good matchup right there. 6'2", 260 Devlin against the 6'1", 205 Mike Green.
Well, I talked about the usual suspects with Coach Barchuk. I said, anyone else you want to talk about? He said, let's talk about Ryan Devlin, Division I prospect. First down here, Green inside, finds a seam, and he's in for the touchdown. Deptford's Mike Green weaving his way through traffic, and we are tied at 6.
And think about the biggest play on this drive. Well, there's two, really, Rob. You got the penalty against, first the penalty against Deptford, then the penalty against Kingsway. But how about before that? Huggins fumbles, gets the fortunate bounce, keeps the drive going. This is a pretty good turn of events for Deptford in terms of luck, as fumbles coming their way and everything.
And the kick is good, so Deptford now on top by the score of 7-6. So as you mentioned, Mike, a tremendous turn of events here for the Deptford Spartans. And Coach Oreo has to be very pleased, coming back with a big drive and stopping Kingsway on defense, turning around, getting a couple breaks, as you mentioned there. You see it on the Pro B Chiropractic scoreboard here in the first quarter. And, you know, if there was any doubt before, we've got a game on our hands.
Yeah, this is typically you get a good game when you get these two teams on the field. I mean, over the years, they've been two of the prime contenders annually in the Tri-County Conference World Division. And, you know, sometimes it's cliche to say, but sometimes when you get there's certain teams, you get them on the field, you can throw the records out the window, throw the history out the window in terms of what they've done in the recent past, and just say, hey, these two teams are going to go at it, and you know you're going to get a good game.
Well, you know, one of the things that'll be interesting to watch if this game remains close is Coach Oreo for Deptford said, you know, Rashawn Huggin just simply tired last week against Woodstown. Of course, he's playing every single play. I said, well, what about this week in terms of his stamina? He said, hey, we're throwing him out there. We'll see what happens. So, you know, Oreo kind of flying by the seat of his pants and said, you know, let's see how it plays out. And so far, it's working out well for Deptford. Bainey with the kickoff. Again, a little pooch and trying to avoid those dangerous return men. And a big hit laid on by the Deptford special teams as Brian Miller comes up with it, just catches it and is pounced upon by Deptford. First down and 10 for Kingsway.
I think it was Brian Hoke, number 13 for Deptford there. Great speed there coming down on special teams and immediately covering that kick.
Brian Hoke, not a big one. He's 5'9", 154, but a senior, and typically plays in the defensive backfield. Here again, we see Kingsway with the two-back set, Hill and Bryant. Pitch out to Bryant. He has a lot of room to operate and trying to follow his blocks. Finally brought down by Mike Green, but I tell you what, you see the great speed as he's isolated out on the side, and he's able to pick up 6-7 yards before he's even contested.
Yeah, I mean, they just spread him out wide enough, and again, that time they went from the far hash mark in the field and yet let him use all that extra room on this near side of the field, and he just took the pitch way out there where nobody's anywhere near him. It just takes off. Good job by blocking there, too, by Larry Thomas. He just got out there and got in the way of people. He didn't really knock anybody over or do anything extra spectacular, but he just got out there and got in the way, and that's what you need sometimes.
Here's Bryant beating men from the backfield and again picking up positive yardage. What looked to be a 3 or 4 yard loss turns into a 4 or 5 yard gain.
And this is really what Kingsway needs to do on this drive. They need to come out and say, you scored on us, we're going to ram it right back at you. And that's what they're doing right now so far on this drive.
Well, again, Deptford has to be pleased because Kingsway, of course, has kept the ball primarily on the ground. A couple quick hitters out into the flat, and Deptford has not thrown the ball yet. That eats up a lot of clock, and that's why the first quarter is over. So after 1 quarter of play, Deptford is on top of Kingsway by the score of 7-6. We'll be back with second quarter action as we take a look at our Proby Chiropractic scoreboard. Welcome back to Woolwich Township, home of the Kingsway Dragons. They trail Deptford 7-6. Just the start of the second quarter. Quick pitch out to Bryant with a lot of room and finally brought down on the far side, but not before another huge pickup of about 15 yards. Dorian Bryant well on his way to another big night.
Wow, he can just flat out fly. I mean, he's got incredible speed coming around that corner. And it's almost like, and I guess probably because it's true, everyone else is standing still, Rob. I mean, he gets that ball and he's already in motion. Everyone else is still coming out of their stance, and Bryant's already gone.
There again, the pitch to Bryant, just weaving through traffic, trying to push it to the outside, and finally pushed out. But again, another big pickup for Dorian Bryant and the Kingsway Dragons. It's like you said, Mike. You've got Dorian Bryant out there, a Lamborghini amongst a bunch of gremlins. And that's taking nothing away from Deptford because they too have good speed, but that just illustrates the great speed of Bryant.
And again, you got Larry Thomas out there at wide receiver doing some blocking along the near side. This time Thomas lines up on the far side, however. So maybe it's watch where Larry Thomas is, and that'll give you an idea of where Mr. Bryant will be running. Let's see what they do this time.
Here's Hill and Bryant in the backfield. And Green trying to blitz from the outside. Quick hitter inside to Hill. And continuing to drive, just working his way through traffic. A late flag may be a face mask.
Yeah, it's probably going to go against Deptford undoubtedly there. That was so late. I'm pretty sure it was Clyde McCullough, number 3 for Deptford there at the end of the play, who was trying to make that tackle, and it looked like Hill wasn't going to go down anyway, so you got to do something in that case.
5 yard face mask on the defense, 5 yards at the end of the run. First down.
Well, again, what's kind of amazing here is that you just see how electrifying Dorian Bryant is. It just seems like a moment ago, Deptford was down at that end scoring a touchdown. Just like that, Kingsway turning the ball around and threatening to score. Brown with Hill. Handoff Hill, big hole, continuing and maintaining his balance. Just broke through the tackle of Alexis Aquino. And that's the thing with Tarif Hill, just a totally different type of runner, Mike. He's almost like a fire hydrant out there. It's difficult to bring down, very short, tremendous balance, and a totally different look.
Hill 5'9", 180, and then you got Bryant 6 foot 165, so you got the little bit two differences. You got the speedster, thin, raily, a little bit able to be elusive, and Hill will just kind of jam it right at you.
Here's Hill again, handoff, and this time Deptford stopping him. Vince Darpino, a nice stop right at the goal line.
It looked like Hill wasn't going to be stopped there for a minute, but they got 2 guys on the initial hit, and then they got a little help from a third guy there, and Hill just kind of rocked forward in that pile, and then boom, had to go backwards because there was just too much force against him.
Well, big third down here, and they would love to make Coach Barchuk come up with a big decision. Instead, it's third down and about 1. Deptford trying to stop Fromm. Fromm pushing forward, and Fromm is in for the touchdown. Well, a good second effort by Eric Fromm puts Kingsway back on top.
And Fromm's so big, Rob, 6'5". He gets the snap and can probably just fall forward, and he's in the end zone. So when you got a guy that big, and he's just trying to drive his way in there, following the center, that's what you get. And he powers his way into the end zone for the touchdown. And Fromm out there now with the offense, it looks like they will go for 2 again, Rob.
Well, Tom Sweeney, really credit him, the center of the Kingsway team. Coach Barchuk said he's nothing but blood and guts, and he set Fromm up behind Sweeney and just followed him into the end zone. So Kingsway again to try the 3-point conversion. Here is the handoff to Bryant. Shakes one tackle, tries to break through another, and he's in for the 2-point conversion. Well, again, Coach Barchuk talked about Bryant. Not only is he fast, but he said he's a football player, and there you see the drive by Bryant to put them on top now, 14-7.
And Rob, you talk about the speed, and that's something you can't teach, but there's another thing you can't teach too, and that's desire. And that's really what Bryant showed that time, because he could have been stopped on that initial spin as he started to turn the corner, was able to get away from that one, and then just kept on going and going and going, got his way into the end zone, would not be stopped. We'll take a look at it again and just watch him. See, he could have went down there, but no. He says, I got nothing but the end zone in my sights. 41's coming up. No thanks. Spins. He's hit there. Keeps driving there. Watch his feet and just stretches across to the end zone. Look at that.
Literally 5 Deptford tacklers before he is stopped, but not stopped before he scores 2 points here. And Dorian Bryant is just an amazing talent. Very pleased to do this game because he's heard so many good things about Bryant. Last week, of course, had an opportunity to see Delsey with Assad Hafiz and so many other weapons, but Dorian Bryant has very much impressed thus far in this first half.
And the first time we saw Kingsway, Rob, Bryant was really kind of an unknown factor at that time because it was the beginning of the season and we weren't sure what's going on.
Well, the squib kick down, and Deptford has a tough time picking it up, but it looks like Deptford will, now they motion in the other direction. It's going to be Kingsway, and it looks like Kingsway's number 85, Tom Gallo, will fall on top of it. That's a big break for the Dragons.
And Tom's the kicker. How about that, Rob? Came up and got that.
It looks like the kicker kicked it to someone who kicked it back to the kicker. So first down and 10 here for Kingsway, 14-7, 9 minutes, 55 seconds left. Gallo apparently has the boomerang kick.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the way you draw it up necessarily, but effective nonetheless. It was like a pinball machine down there. Rattled off a couple of guys, hit a bumper.
Play action pass now. Fromm being flushed out of the pocket. He'll have to get rid of it. And he throws it out into the flat. Has a man, and a nice play by Eric Fromm. A big first down.
Wow. You can just say wow on that one because Fromm showed a lot there. A lot of arm strength, Rob, to throw that, have the confidence to throw that because Vallejo, the receiver there, he wasn't, wide open, standing there with nobody around him. There was a defender near him, and Fromm really showed some guts throwing that ball in there.
Well, it's fun to watch a good quarterback. Fromm flushed out of the pocket, maintained his feet, maintained his balance, and made a strong throw to Vallejo for a first down here. Here's a quick pitch. It's out to Bryant again. Bryant weaving through traffic, and finally wisely wrapped around the legs, but it looks like we may have a holding penalty, and it looked like in the direction of Tom Sweeney.
We'll hear from Mark Finelli.
Instead, it's a clip. So that will negate the big pickup from the spot of the foul. Let's go out to Finelli.
Clipping on the offense, 15 yards from the spot of the flag. We'll repeat first down.
Well, as we mentioned before, the difference between this Kingsway team and the Deptford team is that element that Eric Fromm gives you, a strong arm.
Yeah, I mean, Huggins, of course, he probably was at practice at the end of August or beginning of September, already, hey, I'm going to be a wide receiver running routes. And next thing you know, now he's the quarterback, and who could have thought? I'm sure he had no intentions or a desire, really, to necessarily be the quarterback, but he's doing a good job.
Here's Fromm, and they're setting up a screen pass. They'll throw it out to Bryant, and out onto the wing, cuts inside, bounces off as his own tackler, pushing it out to the right. Has one man to beat, and he won't catch him. Dorian Bryant on the screen pass, big touchdown.
He is an electrifying player. There's no other way to say it, Rob. This is probably one of the more electrifying players we've seen in South Jersey football in a long time. I mean, every time he touches the ball, you think he can score a touchdown. Your people are sitting here watching this game. As soon as he gets the ball, everybody's standing up going, oh, what's going to happen this time? And this time it's a touchdown.
Well, I tell you, he's like a pinball out there. Pushed it to the outside, weaved through traffic, literally bounced off his own player. And once you have him in a foot race, you're going to lose. So it's Kingsway now to attempt a 2-point conversion, trying to make it 22-7. Fromm with Baleko in motion. A hand off to Bryant, and Bryant will be stopped. That's actually Fauntleroy. So a bit of a different look, the first opportunity for Fauntleroy to carry, and will not be able to push it in. So again, a bit of a break on that kickoff, Mike, as they were able to recover and push it in. Let's take a look here, Mike.
Here's a touchdown. The thing that's amazing here, look how far back Fromm drops back. That's like a 15-yard drop. So the screen pass is still way in the backfield, and Bryant has the time and space to turn and look around and see what's ahead of him.
Right there, he bounces off his own player, just pushes him aside.
Says, Fauntleroy, get out of my way, and then he weaves through like 4 tacklers there from Deptford. And now look, he's got nothing. He could run to the bus out there if he wanted to.
Well, Brian Hoke just didn't get a good angle on him, and you can't really fault Hoke because Hoke hasn't seen that type of speed this year.
Incredible.
So we'll see if Gallo can come up with another boomerang ball here. It's 20-7, Kingsway on top, 8 minutes, 55 seconds remaining. That squib kick was successful last time. We'll see if Coach Barchuk opts for the same. Again, a knuckleball, a big hop this time, coming through from the back, and a good return, breaking through into the secondary of the special teams for Kingsway. A nice return on the play by Brandon Russ.
Sophomore, 5'8", 140, making the play there. A nice return. And sometimes, the squib kick, it gets a little wacky down there, bounces around a little bit. But when you get a hop like that, nice and easy to handle, next thing you know, you got a nice seam right there, right down the middle like he had, because everyone's expecting the ball to come to the sideline sometimes on those squib kicks. So, it can open up some holes.
Well, what happened the last time, you had the guys who typically don't handle the ball trying to get it when it was still hot on the ground, unable to pick it up, bounced off a couple legs. Kingsway finding it back into their possession. And obviously, when you have a guy like Russ coming from the back who's more apt to be familiar with handling the ball, you're going to have a better result. So a second down here with a gain of about 1. And this is a gut check here for Deptford.
Yeah, let's see. They came back strong after a little bit of a disappointment on their first drive and scored on that second drive. See if they can come back strong again here.
Sean Huggin peeps, has a man, it's Green, pitches back to him, up, and look at the power of Mike Green. He absolutely dismissed Dan Wyckoff, and that's no small task because Dan Wyckoff is a big hitter, but Mike Green just illustrating that power.
Wyckoff is a big hitter and a big guy, 6'2", 225, and Green just put his head down and said, I'm going right through you, buddy, and blew him back about 4 or 5 yards.
That'll bring up a big third down here. We'll call it 4, 3rd and 4. High formation, Huggin is hit immediately in the backfield, and there he is, Mr. Everywhere, Chuck Ellis.
He's got a great linebacker name too, Chuck Ellis. It just oozes of linebacker, doesn't it, Rob?
No, absolutely. Chuck, I like that. See, last week we were doing the Delsey game. Their kicker's name was Brock Bolin. Now that's not a kicker's name. All right, they had the running back Johnny Jones, and he's fast.
Yes.
You can tell Johnny Jones fast.
Yeah.
Chuck Ellis, big hitter.
Yeah.
Punt here for Deptford.
Don't you love football?
And it's a low line drive. It'll go towards Baleko. Baleko will pick it up on the big hop and brought down immediately. A good play by Deptford. But again, we talked about it being a gut check for Deptford offensively. Well, it didn't work out. Right now, Coach Orio will need a big stop from the defense. We'll see if they can come up with that big stop right after this. We are back at Kingsway, and an inside handoff. Hill quickly into the secondary, and a gain of about 14 yards. First down and 10 for the Dragons. Just under 7 minutes remaining here. As we mentioned, Deptford, Mike, needs to play some tight defense here.
And you know what, Rob? The problem here for Deptford is their offense didn't do their defense any favors. Their offense was on the field for 3 plays and out, and now Deptford's defense is back on the field. They were out there. Kingsway went down and scored. Then they got the kick that got loose. The defense is back out there again. Now they're out there again. So they haven't had an opportunity to rest at all. Not that all the guys do rest. I mean, you got Huggins out there on all facets of the game. So
there you see Bryant. This time, some gang tackling and a big loss. So I guess Bryant is human.
There you go. And more importantly, Rob, what happened there was you got Deptford's outside linebackers now are starting to get even further outside than normal, it looks like, and they're really trying to close down that outside lane that Bryant's been able to get, because they've been sealing off with good blocks and keeping that outside lane open for Bryant to at least get the initial first 4 or 5 yards. And then from there, it's all Bryant just doing what he does.
Kingsway is tripped right, tries to swing it out to Bryant, and again, that's what we talked about before. They're just going to try to get the ball to Bryant, let him go out and isolate one-on-one, and I'll tell you what, you have to like your chances if you isolate Bryant one-on-one, but obviously he still has to catch the football. 3rd
and about 14 now for Kingsway. So this, again, plays into the hands of Deptford. They want Kingsway to be in this situation.
I think one of the keys to this play, I would sense that they're going to throw the ball here, Mike. Deptford's going to need to have a good rush, and they're going to have to, this time, bring down from.
There's a look at Coach Al Orio. He's 11 and 14 in his coaching career at Deptford thus far, and I think it's this is 3rd year with the Spartans.
Final roll in motion, Fromm back to pass, plenty of time, throws over the top, tipped up. Larry Thomas unable to come up with the pass. Had he been able to catch it, that would have been a first down for this Dragons offense, but instead Deptford will get the ball back.
Nice throw by Fromm, right there across the middle, a little bit high. The receiver Thomas had to go up and get it, and that's not the most comfortable situation for a wide receiver, coming across the middle like that, because you know you're going to get whacked.
No, it's not, but again, as a money receiver, you have to expect that you're going to take that hit.
Absolutely.
And that's a ball that I think Thomas will tell you he should have had. So timeout here as the whistle blows. Kingsway unsure as to whether or not they have their entire team out there. Looks like they had only 10 men as Brandon Becker came rushing out a little bit late. Kingsway on top, 20-7. We mentioned before, Mike, we're going to talk a little bit about Kingsway. Kingsway started out the season in a game that you did against Glassboro, a big win, lost to Delsey, and since then has continued to roll, beating up on Pennsgrove by a score of 47-14. Then defeated Cumberland 25-14. Last week you mentioned the game where they defeated Williamstown. Here Deptford. Then it's Gloucester Catholic, who really has had a tough time of late. Woodstown, who always is a tough team to beat, and of course the big rivalry with Clearview. Not to mention, there's little doubt that this Kingsway team will see the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. They've been in the playoffs 4 straight years now, and right now, fair catch called for out there on the field. But right now, they're in position, I guess, to be maybe, 4th or 5th seed, I'm assuming, in Group 2. But they're certainly on track for yet another playoff berth, Rob. That's no question. It's become pretty much expected here, I think, at Kingsway.
Well, first down and 10 here for the Deptford Spartans. 5 minutes, 45 seconds left, and I think if you're Coach Orio, you want 2 things here. You want a solid drive, and you want to eat up a lot of that clock.
And you probably want some points at the end of that solid drive. Absolutely, Rob. But yeah, I mean, you want to use some time, but you want to get some points, too.
Here's Huggins with the full house backfield. Green staying on his feet, and finally gang tackled and finally brought down. Green just refusing to go down. A host of Kingsway tacklers led by Jared Vallejo.
Remember, Green is a sophomore. Just think about that. He's a sophomore. I mean, he's pretty huge. I mean, just watching him run over people is amazing. It takes 4 and 5 guys to bring him down. So this guy's gonna be somebody you're gonna remember for a couple more years and want to remember for a couple more years and watch play.
Well, I know Coach Orio said the Division I scouts have already come to ask him about Green. And here's Huggin back to pass, something you won't see often. Huggin has a man in the flat, unable to hit him as Brian Miller was open. But again, difficult set for Huggins, just simply not used to being back there throwing the football.
And also tough, really thrown on the run like that. I mean, that's a sprint out. That's the play they wanted to run, but that's not an easy play, not an easy throw to make. We saw Fromm do it earlier. But that was under pressure. That wasn't a design play. Fromm had to roll out that way. This one, Huggins was supposed to do that.
I'll be honest with you. I thought Huggins would have been better off just to hold on to that football. He definitely would have had a first down here. Big 3rd down and 1. Huggins again. 3 backs. It's Green. And met in the backfield. He will be very close to a first down depending on the spot.
From here, I'm going to say he might be a shade short.
I agree with you.
But he got that last spin there at the end. I thought maybe he could stretch his arm out there and get it. But they're going to measure, so it's close.
Well, we mentioned before about Kingsway, their schedule. We take a look at the Deptford schedule. Deptford, started out with high hopes, but as we mentioned, the injuries have really decimated, particularly their quarterback course. Started off against Delsey, 7-0 at the half, and unfortunately for Deptford, Delsey just opened it right up. There's a first down for Green. So, from our angle, it didn't look like it was going to be a first down, but a big first down for Deptford. Then they go on, defeat Pensgrove, and have a tough game against Clearview. Lose to Glassboro. A big win last week against Woodstown. Here against Kingsway. Next week it's Williamstown. Then Cumberland, who's much improved, and then Gloucester Catholic to round things out. First down now. Handoff again. It's Huggins on the keep. A nice pitch to the outside and a big pickup. Illustrating his speed is Vaughn Eli. As we mentioned, Eli, a fine athlete.
And really, I think that play was all about Mike Green because Green virtually had the ball in his hands on that fake handoff, and Huggins pulled it out of there, but the Kingsway players were still reacting to the run by Green, gave Huggins some time and some room to run that option and flick it out to Mr. Eli.
Again, the handoff as Kingsway stops Darnell Young after a pickup of about 2 yards, 2nd down and 8. So Deptford now 3 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in this half, and they would like nothing better than to eat up all 3:53 and finish up the half with a score. Here is Huggins on the keep, breaking inside, and again, as the defense keys on Green, opens up the offense of Deptford for Eli and Huggins.
Deptford still has plenty of time. They're up. They're moving the ball here. I was going to talk about their timeouts. They've used 1 so far, so they've got 2 left. So if they can get a first down here, they have plenty of time to get it into the end zone.
3rd down and 3. 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Here's the handoff to Green. Green pushing through the line, and again, it's going to be very close to that first down marker. I have to believe if they don't make it, Mike, that Coach Orio is going to opt to go for it.
Yeah, you would think so, judging by what they did on that last time they had a close situation like that. I was just trying to take a look at the wind. The wind is actually kind of blowing from in the face of Deptford right now. So kicking, is probably not an option here. Although Haney showed good leg with that. Bainey showed good leg on that last one. Although it was wide left.
Well, Mike, unfortunately, you're 0 for 1. What do you think? It's too late.
Ooh, that's close.
That is close.
They got it.
They got it. It's hard to, again, when they first stretch out that cord, Mike, that chain, I didn't think they had it.
And, it's really a testament to Green. The guy gets in there, and he's just powerful and just keeps pushing and pushing, and he's been able to pick up these close first downs.
Well, I tell you, our producer, Stan Ritter, points out that this Deptford team really a different team from when we saw them against Clearview. Seems like they've really realize the adversity and have overcome it. First down and 10, a handoff here. Pushing to the outside is Young, and Young will pick up a few yards, but there is a penalty flag on the field.
And you know what else I like? You see number 44 there again. Green was blocking that time. You know, you get some guys don't like the block. Some guys aren't very good blockers. He goes out there and throws his body around.
There you see him talking to Tarif Hill, the referee. And it looks like Kingsway is going to take it, and hey, why not?
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the end of the run. First down.
First down, ball spotted from the end of the run. So it looks like it's going to be about first down and 19. We got 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in this half. We'll see if Huggins is forced to go to the air here. Huggins with Green and Hardy in the I formation. It's Green. It looks like a double reverse, and it is sniffed out by Chuck Ellis. And a big loss on the play as Clyde McCullough is dropped. A big loss, and frankly, Mike, that play just took too long to develop.
You could see that thing coming a mile away, and I don't know if the first player that takes the handoff, in this case Green, has the option of keeping it or not, or if it's no matter what, you make the play and hand it off, because he might have been better advised to just keep it and see what he could get, because they had it covered. Let's see what's going on here with that play. And yeah, look, I mean, Green just gave it away. He was giving it up the whole time, so I don't think there's any options there. It's you give up the ball.
Well, Deptford opts to take a timeout here. 1 minute and 41 seconds left. There you see big 55, Chuck Ellis. We mentioned before the senior is 6'1", 215 pounds, and Coach Barchuk just loves this kid. He says he has just done a really good job all season long. In fact, he says he is Mr. Everywhere, playing inside linebacker for the first year, and just has a tremendous nose for the football. That is illustrated in that last play.
We saw him do the same thing against Glassboro in that game earlier on. He was everywhere in that game too. Ellis just, like you said, Rob, a nose for the football, and they're the kind of guys it's just the typical inside linebacker, middle linebacker guy that you expect to make those plays.
Well, for Deptford, your mindset completely different now. Instead of trying to score, you're probably thinking about how do we run this clock out.
I was just thinking that. I mean, they had the ball just less than a minute ago, down inside the 30. Now it's back almost at midfield.
Huggin with the pitch. Green will throw the ball out into the flat, and it's picked off. Picked off, and again, another play that took forever to develop. And Huggin was out in the flat, but it was picked off on the play by Greg Ross.
I think Green might be showing his sophomorishness a little bit because on a couple of plays, and I mean that in terms of he's young. He's still young, and there's a couple plays where he hasn't sold the fake. Like here, I don't believe he's going to run the ball at all. He's going to throw. And on that other one, on the reverse, I didn't believe he was running the ball. You could tell he was going to give it up. So that might be one aspect that Green needs to work on. But these are gadget plays. These are trick plays. These aren't everyday plays.
Tarif Hill is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. A nice tackle made by Billy Sims, just holding on to that foot of Hill, waiting for help. Second down and 9, 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining in this first half. Looks like Kingsway may be content to just keep the ball on the ground, and hey, if we go to the half 20-7, Coach Barchuk thinks we're well ahead of the game.
Now they used 2 timeouts already in this first half, so they have just 1 left.
From back to pass, has a man in the flat. It's Larry Miller, and Miller up top, unable to come down with it as Fromm overthrew his receiver.
Fromm looks confident though every time he throws the ball. I mean, it just looks like he knows where he wants to do it and really puts it out, puts a nice ball out there for his receivers. That time, overshot him a little bit, but it looked good in doing it.
Well, Eric Fromm's coming out party was last year against Haddon Heights in a big Group 2 playoff game, and ever since, Coach Barchuk said he just keeps getting better. Third down here, it's Hill, and Hill is wrapped up immediately by Matt Hardy.
Now you got some interesting strategy going on because Deptford is probably likely going to get the ball back here. Kingsway will let the clock run down probably, maybe even take the delay of game, but they'll probably punt. Yeah, the punting unit's coming on now. So they're going to let the clock probably run all the way down, maybe even take a timeout before the play clock expires, and then punt it away, leaving Deptford with very little bit of time left, but they're going to get the ball back and get another opportunity.
Well, 17 seconds, 16, 15 seconds now, and Kingsway will simply try to get rid of the punt. They do, a penalty flag, and Deptford wisely just lets it roll, and it will be downed by Fauntleroy. Wow. But a penalty flag, excuse me, that was Brandon Becker, a penalty flag here with 2 seconds left. We'll have a roughing the punter. I tell you what, I'm not too crazy about that call because he tried to hold up the punter there, just very little contact, but nonetheless, probably won't do Deptford any harm.
And with just 2 seconds left on the clock, what you do now is, if you're Kingsway and you do accept the penalty, you just get the ball and you kneel on it. And you walk off and say, okay, we're happy with 20-7. We'll see what Mark Finelli has to say.
5 yard, running into the kicker on the offense, 5 yards from the previous spot, still
4th down. So now, if you're Kingsway, you're probably bringing Fromm back out and you're kneeling on him.
Either that or throwing the Hail Mary.
Bad things can happen like that, though, Rob. If you ask me, I wouldn't do it. You're up 20-7. Somebody makes an interception and runs it back for a touchdown, which, the chances are small, but that chance is probably not worth taking, because then Deptford's got all kinds of momentum coming back out in the 3rd quarter.
Ball spotted at the 48-yard line here. 2 seconds remain in the half. There you see Coach Barchuk and the rest of his crew urging his team on, and you'll get a sense immediately from their set whether or not they're going to throw the ball up. They've got a 2-back set here. It's Fauntleroy and Hill. Bryant spread out, and Fromm takes a knee, and that will end the first half. So at the end of the half, much to the chagrin of this Kingsway fans here, 20-7, Kingsway on top of Deptford, the end of the first half. And Kingsway, again, illustrating just the many weapons. Dorian Bryant has been impressive.
Yeah, outstanding first half for Bryant. Just catching the ball on the screen that he ran in for the touchdown, then the long 60-plus yard touchdown run that he had later on, earlier on. An impressive first half.
Well, that will wrap things up for the first half. Kingsway again on top of Deptford by the score of 20-7 as we look at our Pro V Chiropractic scoreboard. We'll have second half action for you in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Kingsway High School. Starting the second half, again a knuckleball, and it's going to be picked up by Deptford's number 19. And finally brought down on the play is Brandon Russ, and stopped at about the 36-yard line. Again, Mike, Deptford's going to have to run the ball successfully here.
Yeah, I mean, they want to come out here and establish something right away. This is a big time in a football game when really a lot of times the game's won or lost here at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, where that momentum can really change hands. And Deptford with that loaded backfield there, trying to make something happen here in the 3rd quarter as we are just underway.
So a brief gain of about 3, maybe call it 2. 2nd down and 8.
And Mike Green, of course, the running back for Deptford, and there's a good story about him and about his rivalry with Kingsway here, and we'll touch on that in just a moment.
2nd down and 8, 3-back set for Huggins. Huggins, the handoff, plenty of room, breaking out into the open, and for a first down is Von Eli. Eli has been successful today.
Last year when Deptford played Kingsway, Green was running the football and was hit hard on the hand by Kingsway safety Mike Roberts, and really took a real tough blow to his right hand, I believe it was, and it had left a real severe bruise in the game last year. And Green said he could hardly carry the ball; it was bruised so bad he couldn't even hold on to it.
What a big hit laid on by Kingsway's Dorian Bryant. Simply outweighed on the play as big number 45, Breon Johnson, He's listed at 5'10", 165, but I've got to believe that that's a bit of a misprint. He's a little bit bigger than that. But Dorian Bryant, who goes about the same, 165, really laid out Johnson.
And Green, getting back to Green and that story, it not only physically hurt him, but it hurt his feelings too, because he was upset that one guy could do that to him and take him down and take him out of a game like that. So he's been running like a man possessed this year and is really concentrating on running hard and not letting just one guy bring him down. That's been his mission this season.
First down and 10 here for the Spartans of Deptford. And this is what Coach Oreo needs. Again, as you mentioned, establishing the run, eating up some clock. You know, let's face it, it seems like it's been one-sided, Mike, but 2 touchdowns and Deptford's on top.
The difference, though, is that Kingsway can make the quick strike. Deptford's got to do it methodically and kind of, real, not strategically, but just they got to keep doing it methodically and march down the field. It's got to happen play by play, and it's got to play itself out. Where Kingsway, bam, they can hit you real quick like lightning.
Von Eli picking up his number, a gain of 8 yards, 2nd down and 8. Deptford continuing to roll here. Huggin with the handoff, it's Green. Green breaking through the secondary and up for a first down.
Green reminds me of somebody, but I can't put my finger on it. I don't know. Earl Campbell, does that come to mind? Is that just the way he carries himself, the way he runs the ball, the way his shirt's untucked? You know, he looks like that physical kind of type of runner.
Well, he's certainly a load. First down and 10 here, 9 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Huggin again with the 3-back set. Handoff, a little bit of miscommunication, but it looks like Eli breaking through to the secondary. And again, Eli turning nothing into a big gain. Seemingly stopped at the line of scrimmage, but found a small seam, exploited it, and Deptford continues to roll.
Another first down for Deptford, and this is exactly what the doctor ordered for Deptford to come out and do this. Exactly what they're doing, running the ball and just ramming it right down the throat of Kingsway right here.
Well, coming out of the game, it's Nick Bowles, and now spread out wide right. A penalty flag on the field, and a legal substitution called against Deptford. And again, it's just these small penalties that seem to trip up Deptford.
They got things going in the right direction, and all of a sudden, yeah, like you said, Rob, one of these little penalties hurts.
Dead ball foul, legal substitution. There were 12 men when they broke the huddle. On the offense, 5 yards from the previous spot, repeat down 1, and we have a charge. Excuse me, we're going to put the ball in play.
Okay. Deptford breaks the huddle with 12 men. Again, a fine explanation there by our referee. As you see, he's starting to see red after calling some mental penalties. But it seems like Kingsway has had 12 men all night long.
Especially on offense.
And a big hit laid out is Big Mike Green. No gain there. 2nd down and 15.
Who else in the middle of that but Chuck Ellis there, number 55 for Kingsway. Guy just likes to get in there and make plays. There he is. Intensity, look at him. Checking, getting the play, getting the call from the coaching staff. Now he's going to talk to the boys. Here's the play. All right, let's go.
Tell you what, Chuck Ellis has been a big part of that Kingsway defense all night long. Here's Eli, breaks it open through the small seam. Looked like he wanted to go around tackle, saw a small opening, and picks up about 6 yards. That'll bring up a long 3rd down here for Deptford.
I like what Deptford's doing, though, Rob. A little bit mixing it up now. They bring in Green, get some power, let him run over some people, bring in Eli. He's got some speed, some quick moves, breaks to the hole quickly. It's a good mix they got going right now, and you really got to like it.
Well, there you saw head coach Tony Barchuk and through. Here is Huggin, the pitch outside. It's Green. He'll have to beat a man to the corner. Cannot. It takes 3 or 4 Kingsway Dragons to bring him down, but they do, well short of the first down.
Green running with that determination again. And look at Ellis again. What's going on? What are we going to do, Coach? He is intense.
Well, Coach Barchuk called him Mr. Everywhere, and if there's one thing Coach Barchuk knows, it's good football players. Barchuk now, a career record of 125, 84, and 5. And well on his way to another playoff appearance. A long 4th down here. 7 yards to go. A huge play for Deptford.
Yeah, Barchuk most wins of any coach currently in the Tri-County
Huggins
Conference.
back to pass. Has a man in the end zone. And he dropped it. He dropped it. Huggins hits him in stride, in between the numbers. And big number 86, Jay Matthews, just simply drops it. you know, it's like Jackie Smith in the Super Bowl, just right in the numbers. And 9 out of 10 times you got to believe that Matthews is going to catch that ball. And he sprints off. And a quick no-huddle offensive set here for Kingsway.
And a great play call for Deptford there, really, Rob. I mean, everyone in the world, they've been running all day. You figure they're going to try and run the ball again, and that's just a great play call. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Here's Fromm, quick hitter out into the flat, hitting Vallejo, and picks up about 5 yards, 2nd down and 5. And as you mentioned, you really got to credit that Deptford coaching staff, because that was the last thing that you would expect there. A nice play action pass. He had 2 men wide open in the flat, opted to go to Matthews in the end zone, who was wide open. Matthews just dropped it.
And it almost hung up there in the air and stayed to where the other receiver could have caught it, the way it deflected, but it went out of bounds and, of course, fell incomplete.
2 men spread out on the left. Inside handoff and a penalty flag as Tarif Hill continues to break tackles and finally brought down by Mike Green. But I tell you what, this play is going to come back as a Deptford player is down on the ground. We either have a clip or a holding penalty. Can't quite make out the number, as obviously there's a penalty flag there, and this will go against Kingsway. It's going to be a hold.
Crowd here at Kingsway enjoying this one so far as the home team leads at 20-7.
Another fine crowd here. You know, Mike, you see some of the fans. It's a crisp fall evening here. You know, we come here to Kingsway a couple times every year, and it always seems like it is freezing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about this place. I think
Holding
maybe the way it
on the
sits up
offense,
on the
10
hill.
yards from the spot of the foul. We'll repeat, first down. We have a timeout for injury.
There you go. You hear from Mark Finelli down on the field about that last play. But the way this field sits here, it just seems like there's no way of escaping the wind and the cold, because it's just out here like on an island by itself, it seems like, and just get that wind blowing through here no matter what.
They'll repeat 2nd down. Last year, as you see, we still do not have the number of the injured player, and not quite sure if they're working on an ankle. It looks like they're working over the whole body there. Tell you what, why don't we step away here and we'll come back. We'll have some more information on the injury. It's the 3rd quarter, and Kingsway is on top of Deptford by the score of 20-7. Welcome back to Kingsway High School, as it looked like the injured player was Tom Spencer. And Mike, why don't you talk a little bit about what happened there? Well, maybe we'll have to talk about it later. A quick no-huddle offense here for Kingsway. 3rd down. Fromm back to pass, has a man in the flat, has 1 man to beat. Cannot. A big play made on Nick Smith, and that's a key stop for that Deptford defense.
Great tackle by number 13, Brian Hoke there in the open field. Anything can happen there. He just went right down, got the legs, made the tackle. Outstanding. Now the punting unit's going to come on, and the injury looked like the left knee of the offensive lineman there. Looked like somebody rolled on him and got him from behind. So we hope he'll be all right.
Tom Spencer, the defensive lineman for Deptford. Rush put on an excellent punt, and again, it's going to be Deptford with good field position. No return by Clyde McCullough. So an interesting mix there. You know, all night long we've seen Huggins taking the punts. This time it's Clyde McCullough.
Darius Fauntleroy too there. Outstanding work on the special teams to make the tackle. Great speed.
Fauntleroy's brother, of course, a fine running back here at Kingsway, went on to play at Rutgers University. I said, asked Coach Barchuk, does he have plans to continue on and play at Rutgers? He said, right now, I just want him to worry about what we're doing today. So much for that. But Fauntleroy, probably a Division I prospect. 1st down and 10. Eli in motion. Here's Huggins. Has Eli, a strong pitch, breaks through into the secondary. Still on his feet, cuts back, maintaining his balance, and finally brought down on the play. Heck of a run by Von Eli.
Probably the most exciting 5-yard run you're ever going to see. That was something else.
Big tackle made there by Becker. Becker is a fine player, a tremendous defender for this Kingsway defense. Also an excellent wrestler. 2nd down, 5. Again, a 3-back set here for Huggins and the Deptford Spartans. Handoff, it's Green. Green going off tackle, breaking through, and finally met and driven back Once again, a fine play made. This time it's by Jared Vallejo. So Vallejo, strong offensively, just a junior, coming up from his outside linebacker spot to lay out Mike Brown.
But again,
Mike Green, excuse me.
Again, Green, though, not one to just go down easily, and it's always taken a little bit of help there on the part of another defender. You can't just get him with one guy.
So again, a big third down here as Deptford has the ball just shy of midfield. Huggins. Will keep and will not get the yardage.
Maybe even lost a yard there, Rob.
So Huggins, that play just didn't seem like it had the timing right from the outset.
You talked about Gary Fauntleroy, former standout here at Kingsway, and he is second in South Jersey history in career rushing yards, 5,069, and also holds the South Jersey record for single season rushing yards, 2,286 back in '94.
And Deptford will be forced to punt. They will kick it over the head of Vallejo. Vallejo gets the big bounce. He will return it. He slips on one knee, and the ball will be down at about the 11-yard line. First down and 10 for the Kingsway Dragons. You mentioned before about Fauntleroy being that big player here in Kingsway history in terms of the second most carries or rushing yardage in South Jersey. Of course, this year, Asad Hafiz has eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark for the third season in a row. So I don't know his total numbers, but a tremendous year once again for Hafiz. Here's the handoff inside, and Deptford starting to clamp down on defense. Of course, South Jersey has had their share of fine runners. We look at the college ranks now, Mike, and you see William Green out of Holy Spirit doing a fine job at Boston College. You also have at West Virginia a fine runner out of Holy Cross. And again with Hafiz and some of the other fine runners, Young out of Morristown, and here Dorian Bryant, some tremendous college talent in the area.
How about that guy named Ron Dane for the Giants? Somebody may have heard of him too.
Fromm with the pitch, out to Hill, and just not much there.
Yeah, there's certainly been a long laundry list of outstanding South Jersey football players, running backs. How about Gordy Lockbound? Went to Glassboro High School. Who
played very briefly in the NFL, went on to play at Holy Cross, and played briefly in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And was just inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame this fall. So, we certainly can brag down here in South Jersey about our runners.
Well, of course, we talk about scoring in one season. No surprise here, Kevin Harvey was just amazing. From back to pass, hit while he throws, and a good rush put on by that Deptford defense, and that will turn the ball over. And Deptford has come out defensively much stronger in this second half.
Get the Kingsway cheerleaders out here getting the crowd fired up, throwing footballs into the stands, the little red footballs. I wonder if anyone's got an arm. They can pop one up here in the press box. It doesn't, I guess not.
So, back to receive the punt is Deptford, and getting the punt away, a very short kick, a fair catch called, and the ball will be down at about the 41-yard line by Huggins.
Good move by Huggins there. No chance for a return. He was surrounded. So best thing to do, you just catch that, control it. You've got great field position, ball at the Kingsway 41. Now the way they came out, Rob, to start the second half, they were running the football great. They've stalled a little bit now, but if they can pick it up here, punch it in the end zone, we will certainly have an interesting fourth quarter.
Well, it's interesting just looking over some of the names in South Jersey, their football records. There's some great names. Oh, a big hit laid out. Tarif Hill just pounded Darnell Young. Really no gain on the play.
But if you watch that tackle closely, there he is, 55, Mr. Ellis wrapped up the runner, and Tarif Hill came in there. He got the glory on that hit because he came from the front, but Ellis was really doing all the hard work, holding him down.
Second down and 10. Deptford will need to mount something here. Inside, it's Huggin now, will pitch back, maintaining his balance and maybe getting back to the line of scrimmage is Von Eli.
Speaking of records, Rob, we saw a record broken last time Kingsway was on here on Comcast when they played against Glassboro. Terrence Holmes with 3 touchdown receptions in that game broke the South Jersey record for career receiving touchdowns.
3rd down and 10 here for Deptford. Handoff, it's Eli. Eli met at the line of scrimmage, pushes forward for a couple, but again, long 4th down here for Deptford.
Actually, he tied in that game, so he's still looking to break that record apparently. There was only 3 touchdown receptions of the year. There's touchdown receptions in a career. There it is. Yeah, Terrence Holmes had 3 to tie with Holy Cross's Isaac Irby. So he still is looking to break that record.
Punt away, and Vallejo will receive it. A penalty flag, fumble on the ground. We'll see who comes up with it. And it looks like Kingsway will maintain possession.
But that flag's usually holding on an illegal block, so Kingsway may have the ball, but it might not be where it's currently marked.
Well, again, we talked a little bit before about just some of the great names in South Jersey history. For instance, scoring for a season, number 5, Mike Kerner from Washington Township. Now, you say, I don't recall Mike Kerner being a great football player. Well, he was a good football player, but he was a tremendous baseball player. Went on and won a national championship.
Holding on the receiving team. 10 yards from the end of the run. 1st down.
There you have the call. Kerner went on to win a national championship down at LSU under Skip Burtman. And after playing a couple years of minor league baseball, hung up his cleats. But again, just some tremendous runners. We talked about Avon Coburn, who's now at West Virginia.
He's the guy you were talking about at West Virginia.
Yes.
Couldn't remember his name.
Billy Drury had a great South Jersey career, also ended up playing his college football at West Virginia, went on and had a nice career in the NFL with the Houston Oilers. Back to pass, it's Fromm, has a man by himself and tipped up in the air as defending on the play was Billy Sims. Larry Thomas actually had his hands on it. He was turned into a defender. It went through the defender's hands and bounced off of Thomas up in the air. And it looks like we have a penalty flag again. It may be an ineligible man downfield.
Let's
take a look at this play, Mike. Fromm had some difficulty just getting out from underneath center.
Ineligible downfield on the offensive team. 5 yards from the previous spot. Still
yeah, bumped into the running back, into Hill there. So then he had to regather himself and throw it, and he just kind of heaves it up there. But watch the ball. If I'm not mistaken, it hits off his helmet. Doink! There it is. Right off the helmet.
So again, a penalty flag on the field.
Yeah,
Deptford opts to take it. They will force Kingsway into a rushing offense. Handoff and just nothing there.
Well, this is huge for Deptford here. If they can get a stop here in the way Kingsway's last couple of punts, they haven't been, short, but they haven't been tremendously long either. So they're getting good field position. They're playing that field position game. They're getting closer and closer towards the goal line with the ball each time. So if they can come up with a good stand here, they're going to get great field position, and they absolutely have to capitalize as the clock winds down here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, Eric Fromm telling his offense, let's get off the field because there's only 5 seconds remaining, and the 3rd quarter will run out before Kingsway is forced to run a play. So really have to credit Deptford in this 3rd quarter. They have really battled and kept it tough. They will need to pick up things offensively in this 4th quarter, and we will have it for you right after this as we look at our Pro V Chiropractic scoreboard. Kingsway on top of Deptford, 20-7. Welcome back to Kingsway High School. We have just started the 4th quarter again, trying to get the balls in the hands of Dorian Bryant. Able to do so, but Billy Sims equal to the task.
You talk about great football names. Billy Sims.
Absolutely.
Brings you back to the 80s and the Lions.
Great runner out of the University of Texas. Well, 3rd down here and a whole bunch for Kingsway. Again, content on the one hand to run the clock out, but you don't want to play it too conservatively.
3rd and 15. You got to believe they're going to keep it on the ground here. No, they're not.
Fromm back to pass, has a man over the middle. Big hit, bounces off the hit, continuing to go forward, and very close to the first down is Dorian Bryant. That's just a huge first down if Kingsway has enough.
And Fromm's eyeing that thing up, saying, do we have it? He's looking hard at it. And they're going to measure, so it's close. Nice play by Bryant, though, because he made the catch and was hit initially, bounced right off it and kept on going. The guys must be made of rubber because he just bounces off of everybody. You cannot take him down.
First down. Credit Dorian Bryant with that second effort. And I tell you what, Deptford was looking at an opportunity to have great field position, maybe able to punch in a score and make this a ball game. And we'll go back and revisit this play because I'm sure, at the end of the game, if Deptford's not able to overcome this deficit, that we can kind of highlight that play and talk about the key pickup by Bryant.
Yeah, absolutely. Good throw by Fromm, too.
First down, and shimmying and shaking inside, continuing on his feet. A good effort. It's Dorian Bryant. So, hey, listen, reward the guy that got you there.
And, the other thing about that is, Bryant, he's just been, when they need a play, he makes it. The first down now, it changes everything for Kingsway because now they have some confidence. Their offense is moving. They're away from the end zone. They can do a little bit more now.
Tariq Hill breaking and again maintaining his balance, and that's what's just fun to watch about Tariq Hill. Last year in that playoff game against Haddon Heights, he just turned the whole game around on one play, very similar to that where it looked like he was down, just did not quit, maintained his balance, very low to the ground, and just picked up a touchdown there. He picks up an extra 5 or 6 yards.
And another Kingsway first down. Boy, that 3rd and 15 pickup was huge.
That's a heartbreaker. First down and 10 at the 40-yard line. Fromm handoff to Bryant. Bryant, great speed, tripped up, but not before picking up another 4 or 5 yard gain.
He just hits that hole so quickly.
Well, Kingsway, again, able to get the ball out of their own end. So not allowing Deptford to have that good field position, and also, as importantly, if not more so, eating up more and more of that clock. 9 minutes, 20 seconds remains, second down and 5. Handoff. Again, it is Bryant, and Bryant always seems like when he's stopped, he somehow manages to pick up 2 more yards.
One thing you always see him do, Rob, is he always winds up going forward when he's brought down. He's never going backwards. He's always going forwards, getting that extra momentum going forward, and then he lean the ball out there, and boom, you get 2 more yards just by laying out forward and going, always having that momentum going in the positive direction.
Third down. Handoff, it's Hill. Hill breaking through the line of scrimmage, easily picking up the first down. Gain of about 3, first down and 10, and Kingsway just in a matter of moments from deep in their own end now in Deptford territory.
Yeah, now we're into the single-digit numbers on the clock, down inside of 8:30 now. So if Deptford has any thoughts about winning this thing or getting back in it or tying it, they better right here. This better be 3 plays, and they better get the ball back. Turnover would be big right here for Deptford, actually. If they can pop that ball loose, that would be big.
Fromm with the pitch. Bryant breaking outside, penalty flag, and finally hit after stepping out of bounds. And again, this looks like in the territory of holding.
Stand on procedure against Kingsway.
So the penalty will be assessed against the Dragons.
So we'll bring up 1st and 15 here.
We had 6 men on the line of scrimmage on the offense. 5 yards from the previous spot, it's still first down.
And there you hear the call from Finelli. So they had 6 men on the line there. A no-no.
Coach Barchuk trying to get things straight over there. Obviously not pleased. First down and 15.
He wants to know who that 6th man was. Tell me who it was.
Handoff, it's Hill. Hill met at the line of scrimmage, slides through, and picks up a couple more after being met by Kyle Jones.
Jones on the tackle.
Kyle Jones, a two-way performer, one of the captains on this team. Probably will go on to play collegiately, a 3-year starter, and one of the stronger kids on this Deptford team. Second down now. About 12. Fromm with Vallejo in motion. We'll hand off to Vallejo. Vallejo tries to push it outside, and stringing it out is the Deptford defense. Not much doing.
Taken down by Al Oreo.
Stop made by Al Oreo Jr., 5'11", 195 junior, as we mentioned before. Calls the defense the son of the head coach. Head coach Al Oreo was talking about the injuries he also mentioned in his collegiate career. Played at West Point and then had to undergo a series of knee operations. Went on to finish up his schooling at the University of Pennsylvania. Third down, again about 12. And it's Fromm pitching back to Bryant. Bryant eludes one man, pushing it to the outside, and finally being stopped. But again, you see the slipperiness of Dorian Bryant. A fine play made by Isham Poe.
Nifty work by Fromm, too, because he just sucked that defender in just enough that Bryant had enough room that when he did get the ball, he was able to slip by. Didn't get the first down, but a nice play by Fromm. And he's a heady player, a smart player. He's ranked in the top 15% of his class, has a 1300 SAT. Fromm plays hoops. He was #1 on the golf team. So he's a guy that does it all here at Kingsway.
Huggins receiving the punt, tracked down from behind by Darius Fauntleroy. And again, there you see the difference. Even though Kingsway doesn't score on that possession, Mike, what a difference in field position.
Yeah, it really, the tide really turned on that last series because Deptford had a great opportunity to have great field position, had a 3rd and 15. But now they're, instead of getting the ball at maybe the Kingsway 35 or 40, they're way back, inside their own 15?
Well, there you see it, 6 minutes and 34 seconds. Deptford will have to score twice in order to come back and win this one. And Kingsway really lengthens the field. And here you see the pass from Huggin. Has a man out in the flat, and it's Matthews. You have to hook up with your receiver when he is that wide open. Again, if he hits Matthews in stride, I don't know if Matthews scores a touchdown because he doesn't have great speed. But I tell you what, they are certainly into Kingsway territory.
Had he probably been able to catch his momentum, maybe taking him out of bounds because he was going hard to the sideline, running that crossing pattern. But I think the inexperience of Huggins, Rob, you're not used to making that throw. Maybe he's rolling to his right. That ball's going to carry to his right when he lets it go. If he throws that a little bit more to the left, it's going to be right on target.
Huggins keeps the ball, picks up 2 or 3 yards. And what will be interesting here is if they do not convert on 3rd down, whether or not Coach Oreo thinks that this is 4-down territory. I realize that there's still 6 minutes, which is quite a bit of time, but with this Deptford offense, it's going to take a lot of time to score.
Yeah, but with the ball at your own 15, you're just giving them another 6 right there if you got it at your own 15. At least if you punt it, something can happen.
Huggins with a 1-back set. Spread offense here. Huggins back to pass, looking, throws it up for grabs, and trying to run under it is number 5 for Deptford, Jamal Hobbs, and just out-throwing his man. Deptford now forced to punt.
Pretty good throw from Huggins, though, in terms of arm strength. I mean, he got that one out there, probably threw that a good 40 yards. I mean, it's a good throw, for a high school guy. He's just, a junior, I think we said earlier on. So, I mean, it's not like, he's been doing this for a long time. He's going to keep getting better. I mean, it's something for Deptford to look forward to.
There's the punt, punting it towards Vallejo. Vallejo again picking it up on one hop down the sideline and finally knocked out of bounds at about the 38, 39-yard line of Deptford. So Kingsway with excellent field position here with 5 minutes and 37 seconds left in this game.
One hop. It looked like he also grabbed it with one hand, Rob. Kind of just reached down. Was like, let's go, come with me. And he just pulled it along.
Vallejo's done a fine job. And again, he's going to get the bulk of those punt returns because, frankly, teams do not want to put the ball in the hands of Dorian Bryant.
Yeah, that's just a mistake if you do that. I mean, you're asking for it if you do kick it to him.
Fromm with the 3-back set, handoff, it's Bryant. Bryant going through quite easily into the secondary. And Dorian Bryant, it seems like each time he touches the ball, we're not talking about 3 or 4 yards, it's 8-9 yard gains.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, Robin. I was going to say it had you not thrown me the softball there and set me up for it. But I mean, every time he gets it, it's an automatic at least 6 yards at least. And this time picking up 8, he's just so quick. It's almost like he's going before the play starts. I mean, it just looks like that if you just watch him. He's electric.
Give a lot of credit to this Kingsway offensive line. Fromm now on the keep, a little bit of a different look, and he is cut down. And a good play made by defensive back Brian Hoke. Hoke has done a fine job defensively for Deptford.
Yeah, he has done a nice job today for Deptford. Senior, 5'9", they list him at 154.
So 3rd down, and it looks like about 1. 4 minutes and 25 seconds remain here. Kingsway will continue to eat up clock. This is a play that Deptford, they will frankly need to stop them here. I like Fromm behind center. And that's exactly what he does, just pushes forward, picking up more than enough. In fact, a huge gain of about 5 yards. No measurement needed there, 1st down and 10, and that again will break the back of this Deptford team as the clock ticks down, approaching the 4-minute mark.
Fromm's helmet came unsnapped there, is halfway off. I don't like to see that. I hate when quarterbacks go in there and then they keep churning, they keep going. Next thing you know, you got 4 or 5 big 300-pound guys jumping in there. People can get hurt like that. It makes me nervous if I'm a coach to have my quarterback go in there like that.
1st down. Fromm. Again, a 3-back set is it is Bryant, and Bryant picking up about 5 yards. And now Bryant seems to have hurt his ankle. You see him noticeably limping, favoring what looks like his right leg. That may be all we see of Bryant tonight as the clock ticks down now. 3 minutes and 25 seconds remain.
He's gonna have a seat on the bench. We'll see what develops here with him.
Second down. Fromm with Hill and Fauntleroy. Handoff, it's going to be Fauntleroy cutting through the line, still on his feet, cutting through. Hoke holding on for dear life and finally brought down.
Nice run though from Fauntleroy. And if Dennis Miller was doing this game tonight for ABC Monday Night Football, he'd make a squeaky Fromm reference at some point. You just know it, so I had to say it.
2 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in this one. Kingsway well on their way to the 5th win of the season. Tariq Hill and Fauntleroy in the backfield. Fromm will hand off to Hill. Hill breaking through on his way to the end zone and finally cut down at about the 4.
Thought Hill might get in that time.
Well, Alexis Aquino made a nice play. Hill looked like he had nothing but end zone before him. Aquino finally cutting him down, stopping him from the end zone. And as we approach now close to the 2-minute mark, ball game essentially is over here, particularly if Deptford cannot stop Kingsway from pushing it into the end zone. Fromm again with Hill, gives it to Fauntleroy. Fauntleroy off tackle, cutting back inside, trying to hold him up as the Deptford defense. They are able to do so, but it will be very close to a 1st down.
Fauntleroy that time following his blockers, then just pushed one out of the way and said, come on this way, I want to go over here, and just shoved them aside and tried to get to the end zone. Couldn't quite make it though.
And 1st down on the play. 1st down and 10 here for Kingsway, and it'll be interesting as we approach a minute and 40 left here in the game, whether or not Coach Bartchuk has his quarterback take a knee or whether they push the ball in.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting call here. I mean, if Deptford wants to, they'd still have, I think, all their timeouts, all 3 of their timeouts. I mean, they could stop the clock if they want to get the ball back and get onto all those crazy things. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think you might see Fromm take it here. Get the quarterback son.
Handoff, it's Hill. Hill is in for the touchdown. Well, an easy one for Tarif Hill and the Kingsway Dragons. They go out on top 26-7. So, hey, why not give it to Hill? He's earned it tonight. He's done a fine job as usual. And pay off the men who got you there. Tarif Hill breaking through for another touchdown in his fine career. Kingsway has put this one away now. They lead 26-7.
Real impressive running game tonight from Kingsway. I mean, the quickness and just flat out speed of Bryant, and then you got Hill doing some of that dirty work on the inside, but also with speed too. I mean, he's not a slow trotting back by any stretch. I mean, he definitely can move, but he's also got some power up the middle.
2-point conversion to Reef Hill is good.
There's a good example of that power too.
Let's take a look at that touchdown here as Fromm hands it off to Hill, and Hill barely even touched.
Yeah, real easy. Good blocking there. 61. Chuck Ellis everywhere. He's there on that play too.
He's Mr. Everywhere.
61 too for Kingsway. Brian LaCourte, the junior guard, 6 foot 219, leading the way that time. Good job by the offensive line of Kingsway tonight. Those guys, you know, game in and game out, the running backs, they make all the plays, and they're the ones running to the end zone. But it's the linemen that really help get the job done, and they did a great job for Kingsway tonight. Absolutely.
Well, again, some of the line we talked about Tom Sweeney earlier, and Chuck Ellis, who's done a great job. Mario Marquez, who is a fine prospect for this Kingsway team. Just a bunch of tremendous linemen. Devlin, another one who we mentioned previously. So, you know, in spite of all the talent that Kingsway has in the backfield, they have to have someone to open up those holes, and they do. Kickoff, again, a line drive, picking it up for Deptford, and still on his feet is Josh Steen, finally brought down. First down and 10 with 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining.
And you talk about linemen, there's an interesting lineman for Deptford, Kevin Will, a senior, 6'2", 260, plays tackle, ranked 10th in the senior class of 250 at Deptford and a 1250 SAT. Those guys, you know, sometimes fly under the radar. You don't hear much about the linemen on either team, on any team for that matter. But, you know, they're out there working hard too.
Well, Deptford said that the keys to this game were to make it a long field and not turn the ball over. They've generally done a pretty good job of that, but just a few breaks along the way, a couple key plays, and perhaps it may have been a different outcome. But, you know, let's face it, coming in with your third-string quarterback, Mike, you really need to have just about every break go your way.
Yeah, and they did to start the game, Rob, as we remember. You know, that fumble that Huggins had, it came right back up to him, and he fell on it. Then the penalty situation on that drive where they scored and actually took the lead 7-6 in this game. But then it all kind of fell apart in the second quarter, and it was really due to the running of Bryant and of course, Hill.
I'm surprised that the Deptford coaching staff doesn't have Huggin going to the air. Harry finally goes to the air, has some time, throws it down the middle, up for grabs, and it is bobbled and falls incomplete. But at this point, you know, you're losing 26-7. You might as well get Huggins some reps back there throwing the football. Obviously, inexperienced, the quarterback, no better time than now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. And I think you can also treat this as, look, you know, maybe Coach Uriel comes out and talks to the guys and says, hey, look, let's pretend, you know, for all intents and purposes, right now the score's 13-7. Let's try and get a score before the clock runs out. Let's say we need to win a ball game. Let's see what we can do under some pressure situation. It's only going to help them learn.
And there, the inside handoff, and that goes to Matt Hardy. And we do have a timeout called on the field.
And, of course, the clock stops when they move the chains in high school football. So I don't know if anybody called a time. Yeah, they did call a timeout. But, you know, also keep that in mind. The clock does stop when they move the chains. So, you know, they can treat this like a 2-minute offense, really, and try and learn something about themselves. And maybe that's why Uriel took this timeout, to tell these guys that, hey, look, we still got 17 seconds left. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we need to get a field goal. Say we're down a point. Let's try and get in field goal territory. Let's set a goal. And that's how, high school players and high school coaches learn things, is by doing these, setting goals and trying to get themselves, into a position to make a play. And that's what they're trying to do here, I think. And that's a good timeout by Oreo, really. That's what this is about. That's what high school football is about, learning.
17 seconds remain, and Coach Barchuk tries to hustle off the field here as Deptford gets set to try to punch it down the field. Ball at their own 46-yard line. Hugging back to pass, has time, now flushed out of the pocket, showing his elusiveness, trying to break through the secondary and working his way out of bounds. Able to do so with 7 seconds remaining. This may be the last play of the game coming up.
But as you see, Huggins had the presence of mind, Rob, to try and get out of bounds. It's his second game at quarterback, but he's learned something. He's taken something and he's learned, and he got out of bounds quickly to stop the clock, keep the drive going, hopefully.
2nd down and 8, but really that's pointless because there's just 7 seconds left. Deptford may be on their last play here. Kingsway on top by the score of 28-7. 3-back set here. Huggins will simply hand the ball off to Von Eli. Eli breaking through the secondary. A nice pickup. A gain of about 14 yards, but that will do it as Kingsway, a tough battle with Deptford, but comes out on top by the score of 28-7. Mike, they basically just flexed their muscles at the end.
Yeah, I mean, what they did was just kept control of the game. It looked like Deptford was going to come out there in the 3rd quarter, Rob, and they started running the football and running it really, really well. Moved the ball down the field. A couple penalties. Deptford shoots themselves in the foot. Next thing you know, Kingsway's coming back the other way, controlling the ball, controlling the clock. No scores in the 3rd quarter, and Kingsway ices it with that late touchdown there and 2-point conversion, makes it 28-7. But Deptford was game. They came out and played hard. A real good starting drive in that 3rd quarter. And again, it's something for Coach Oreo to build on with this team.
Well, stick around. We'll have post-game interviews and a wrap-up right after this. We look at our Pro B Chiropractic scoreboard. Kingsway defeats Deptford 28-7. Welcome back to Kingsway High School. Rob Christ here with head coach Tony Barchuk. Kingsway, of course, defeated Deptford tonight by the score of 28-7. Coach Barchuk, a fine job tonight by your team. Overall, fine offensive output, some great running from both of your backs.
Yeah, I thought that number one, we're happy to win. We still don't think that we're, really playing well. And, we may keep on making mistakes, holding penalties, like we keep on disrupting ourselves. The continuity is just not there on offense. And we have a lot of new faces, I think. But obviously, we're just tickled to death to win. We really, really are, because we know we have some real good players and our kids work hard. And so we were happy with the W for sure.
Well, when we spoke before the game, I mentioned to you that Deptford was a little bit banged up, but you'd have none of it. And you came out to be correct. I mean, Deptford really gave you quite a ball game today.
Yeah, we've just by the way the schedule goes, we're able to watch Deptford, from the 1st game up until the 5th game, okay, because they were playing Pensgrove, and so on. We had common opponents. And I watched them get better every week. And I watched them personally, beat Woodstown last week, who's a real good football team. And I just did, before my own eyes, these guys are getting good. They're getting tough, and so I knew tonight we were in for a battle. There was, no doubt about it.
Well, there's no question as a coach, that's what you want your team to do, is to get better every week. As far as your team is concerned, Coach Barchuk, now you're again on a roll, coming the lone blemish on your record against that Delsey team. Starting to head into the playoffs, starting to look ahead to the playoffs. Why don't you grade your chances here?
Well, who knows what's going to happen then. We really just, not to, quote an old cliche, we're just worrying about the next game, which we obviously are. But, we think that if we can get some momentum going, meaning that, if we can just, play and just get some continuity going offensively, I think that we could be in pretty good shape. I also think that defensively we're getting better, okay? We got number 3 back defensively. That's all the difference in the world for us. I thought our kids played pretty good defense tonight against a big, strong team, and we wanted to get into a smash-mouth kind of battle with them, because the game's coming up on the road. Woodstown Catholic, especially Woodstown, in Clearview, they run the ball a lot. So this was a good game for us tonight. I was happy with our defense.
Yeah, defensively, it's a great job. You mentioned Tarif Hill did a fine job. Chuck Ellis did a great job. Just a quick update on Dorian Bryant. We saw him leave the game. It looked like he may have had an ankle injury. Obviously, you're going to need him in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's fine. We just, no need to put him back in the game. We had the game in hand, when we scored that touchdown. So he's fine. Yeah.
Well, once again, congratulations tonight. You mentioned Tarif Hill doing a fine job both offensively and defensively. Mike Shute is with him right now.
Yeah, right here on the sidelines with Tarif Hill. And Tarif, last time we saw Kingsway on Comcast Channel 43, you weren't with the team. You were with the team, but you weren't on the field. And you've been able to improve each week, get better. How do you feel now after recovering from your operation?
I feel all right. I feel that if I keep working hard, and I can only but do better and better each time. And that's all I plan to do is keep working hard. That's all.
Coach said it was good to see. It's good to see number 3 out there, especially on the defensive side. We saw what you could do on the offensive side of the ball. How do you feel that you contribute to the team? What does Tarif Hill do when he's out there? How do you feel you help make this team better?
Because the team has a lot of confidence in me. Ever since younger, they put a lot of weight on me, and I can only but uphold it. So, I got to do what I got to do, and they go off of me. So they get hype off of me, and then I just get hype, and then we just do our thing.
You got the steam coming off the head tonight. A good night for football, Tarif. But your coach was talking a little bit about the playoffs coming up, and I know Kingsway's been in the playoffs now for the last 4 years. So you guys, of course, want to qualify again. How do you guys, as a team, look at getting to the playoffs and what you guys can do this year?
I think if we play hard and we play the way we know we can, with no penalties, then for sure we have potential to go to the championship.
And real quick, the 1-2 punch with you and, of course, Mr. Bryant back there, how do you feel that mixes up the defense when you guys run at them?
It's hard because with him on the outside and me powering up the inside, they don't know where we're going to go. So,
only place to go for you guys now is straight up. Keep working hard, and good luck in the playoffs, Tarif. Thanks a lot. Let's get back Rob back in here now. Rob, once again, final score 28-7. A good win for Kingsway. Solid here in front of the home crowd.
Well, again, as Coach Barchuk said, anytime you play this Deptford team, you know it's going to be a good game, smash-mouth football. That's what we saw tonight. As we mentioned before, Kingsway just kind of flexed their muscles at the end there. Deptford a little short-manned at the quarterback spot. But Coach Barchuk has to feel good after this game, heading into the playoffs just a few weeks away, and they seemingly are getting stronger and stronger.
And they got that good 1-2 punch in the backfield, and that's always going to help.
Yeah, when you see a backfield of Dorian, Bryan, and Tarif Hill, you have to wonder how many other backfields in the area can you really put up against, Bryan and Hill. Maybe that Delsey team, but, other than that, it's hard to match up against those two.
And Delsey's in Group 3, so Kingsway doesn't have to worry about them anymore.
Yeah, Kingsway, again, continuing to get stronger and stronger. They'll be fun to watch come playoff time. Well, for my producer-director, Stan Ritter, my partner, Mike Shute, I'm Rob Chris. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Once again, the final score here from Kingsway High School. Kingsway on top of Deptford, 28-7. Good night, everybody.